Hi there, welcome to Community Classroom Yoga. I'm Noah Krol, this is Cameron and Nicole. What we'll do today is start to expand the practice a bit more into some bit more of a flowing style. We're starting to come into the sun salutations or some variations of the Surya Namaskar that start to get the body a bit more active and further connect the movement to the breath. So let's stand tall with our eyes closed for a moment. And just connect into a nice inhale, nice exhale. And see if you can't feel as though the breath wants to rise a little bit more up in the back and the ribs. We tend to want to lift just up in the chest maybe, so there's a sense of lift up in the back of the ribs. And as the breath starts to fill and create a lift in the torso, maybe also a nice contrast to let the legs settle down. Good. The eyes can stay closed or softly open. Just a few breaths. Inhale, you can sweep the arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands to your side, up and down. The more you reach the arms up, the more the tendency again is maybe just to want to lift with the chest. So lift the arms as much from the back of the rib cage as the front, and as much from each side, right and left. Yeah, just a couple more times. I'm feeling more and more maybe the arms want to be behind the head a little bit so they're not so far out in front. Again, without pushing the ribs forward or the chest forward. Good. One more breath. And the next time that your arms sweep up and overhead, let your right hand grab your left wrist and then side bend to the right. So you actually will pull the left side across. The hand can actually pull on the arm a little bit while you draw the shoulder sort of back into the ribs, the arm bone back into the shoulder. One more breath. Lift as much in the back body as you want to come out in the front. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, you can release the hands. Good, arms can sweep up and overhead again as you inhale. And then same thing, clasp the wrist, opposite side, and side bend. Yeah, a few deep breaths. You might even find your side bend. You kind of pulse in and out as the breath rises and falls. It doesn't have to be totally still. Good. One more breath. And again, as you inhale, come up. Release the hands as you exhale. Just stand tall a moment. The eyes can be open or closed. And we'll start to flow a bit more. Big inhale, arms overhead. Drop your left arm, exhale, side bend with the right. Inhale, come through center, and side bend through the left. A few times. Good. So let's take one more to each side. Every time you come through, inhale a little taller so you have some more space to reach on the exhale. As you come back up on this side, exhale, hands to the hips. Good, so squeeze the elbows back, draw the head back. So there might be a little bit of a lift in the chest towards the back bend. Stand up nice and tall, big inhale, and then start to bow forwards as you exhale. As soon as you notice the spine wants to start to round, stay there. Work to hold this back bend. So inhale, you can rise. Exhale to lower. It doesn't have to be a big motion, especially if you feel that the elbows want to come apart or the head wants to round. So just up and down. More and more work to a sense of back bend. Come all the way up to standing and then all the way down. Good. So again, it doesn't have to be as big range of motion, but really work the awareness that the shoulders and the head haven't dropped and rounded forwards. Good. And say one more inhale. As you come up on your next inhale, let's sweep both arms up and overhead. Good. And then exhale with a soft knee, let's bow forwards. Hands might come to the thighs, towards the shins, or eventually right into the ground. Just a soft bend in the knees so it feels like the hips can move back a little bit, which will allow the low back to soften in, especially if it feels like it might be popped up and rounded. So it could even be like, as Cameron's here, a bit of a half squat to create a bit of softness in here. Good. And as it relaxes, the legs may or may not straighten a little bit. And take a breath. And then bend your knees enough that you can bring your fingertips to the ground and take a big step back with your right leg. And you can start to wiggle it back, as far back as you need to find about a lunge distance. And then we'll just lift the hips so they can come up an inch or so as you inhale. They can sink down a couple inches as you exhale. As the groins start to open, you might need to wiggle the back foot back a little bit. And just a few times, up and down. the more you sink and bend into this front knee, the more the back knee is going to want to bend. So this feeling the back leg can stay nice and straight. And like we worked, that awareness of drawing the shoulders and head back as we bowed forward, work to keep the back leg nice and straight as you bend into the front knee. Good, one more time. And the next time that you inhale, you can sort of wiggle, walk, step that back foot forward. Both feet together, bend your knees enough that you can hang heavy for the exhale. And then switch sides. And step your left foot back, wiggle it back, and start to pulse up and down. Again, it doesn't have to be a big motion, and it's not so much a lifting up and down, it's just a coming up so you can make your back leg straight and strong, and then sink into the front leg. Because of tightness in the front of the groin, it'll be easier to bend your back knee to open than it will be to open across the groin. So take a moment to show strong back thigh. Good. One more breath, as we did on the first side. The next time that you inhale, the back foot can draw forward, both feet to the hands. Exhale, soft knee, sink nice and heavy. And then inhale, arms can sweep up and overhead. Let's rise up to standing. Good. Exhale, release your hands to your side. Good. Take a moment, just stand tall for a breath. And then arms up and overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, bow forwards again to a full forward fold. Good. Hang heavy for a moment, and then let's step your left foot back again to a lunge. Good. Same action, just up and down once or twice. Find a good distance for the feet, especially if getting the foot back and forth is starting to be a bit of a bigger movement for the hips and legs. One more breath, and the next time that you exhale, let's sink all the way down to the back knee. As the back knee comes to the ground, just settle into it. And then bring your hands to your hips. Rise up. So just lift up in the chest. And as you lift up in the chest, the front leg might want to get straight. So keep stretching the front knee over the front toes. The spine might want to arch. So just like when those standing, lift up into the back of the ribs a bit more. Good. One more breath. And then as you exhale, let's bring the hands to the ground. Lift off your back knee and find the hands and feet about a push-up distance. And then right at the groin crease, we'll lift the hips up. Good. As the hips lift, the spine might want to round a bit. So if you look forwards, it'll give you a bit of room to pull the chest forward. So you can create a bit more of a back bend there. Then you can just press through one heel and the other. A bit of movement. Maybe you press through your right heel, you reach through your right hand. Same with the left. And then over about 2 or 3 steps with each leg, let's walk the feet back up to the hands. Good, little bend in the knees, hang heavy, and then sweep your arms up and overhead. Big inhale. Like we did before, let's clasp the right wrist with the left hand and pull yourself into a side bend. Good, just take a breath or two there. And the next time that you inhale, you can come back through center. Release the hands and let your weight shift into your right leg. You can come up to the left toes and they can start to hover. If your balance is there, you might hold the back of the thigh or you start to hold the shin. Just like in those lunges, the higher we bring the standing leg, the more the bottom knee is going to want to pop forward because of tightness in the groin. So you can keep drawing the standing thigh back as you draw the lifted thigh up, whatever that looks like in your body. Good. Exhale, release the lifted leg. Stand tall a moment. And then arms overhead. Big inhale. Exhale, bow forwards. Good. Little bend in the knees to really soften. And then let's step the other leg back. So right foot back, left foot forward. A few times up and down. As you find yourself up and down, you get some more room. Maybe you adjust the feet a little. Like on the other side, as you exhale, let's come on to the back knee. Good. Take a moment, sink, prepare, and then hands to the hips. Let's rise up. Shoulders back, head back a little. Lift in the belly so that we don't collapse in the low back. Feeling as though the back of the ribs want to lift out of the back of the hips, which are sinking into the ground. Good. Full breath. And And the next time that you inhale, same as the first side. Hands to the ground to find about a push-up distance, hands and feet. And then right from the groin crease, lift the hips up. As you come up, tightness in the connective tissue and the hamstrings will make the bum want to tuck under. So if it helps, shift your weight a bit forward or bend your knees a bit so you can get a bit of rotation in the pelvis to more of a back bend in the lower spine. And press through one side and the other. Good. One more breath. And just like on the other side, over a few steps with each foot, walk your feet up to the hands. Exhale, bow heavy. And then sweep the arms up and overhead. Just like the other side. Grab your left wrist, side bend to the right. Good. And just feeling your side bending in not such a way that it's like contracting the breath, but inhale, exhale. Feel the breath, move the body. That's what will deepen you into it. And then rise up. Release the hands. And same thing. We'll shift our weight to our left leg. The right knee can draw, just fingertips start to get a bit light. Come higher and higher as long as the standing leg can stay straight. It helps maybe look on the floor or something unwavering a little bit ahead of you to help with stability. Good. One more breath. And the same as before, just release the leg. Let's close the eyes though and stand tall for a moment or two. And again, just feel the breath move in the body. I think quite often about doing the asana or the various poses while doing breath. And if you imagine there's a flow of the breath and the movement of our physical body is more just a condensing of those same sort of natural patterns or natural flow, or sort of like water would flow. The breath would flow in certain pathways. Good. One more breath. And then big inhale, let's sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Bend your knees enough that the fingertips can be on the ground or they might come to the shin. Inhale, look forward, reach the spine forward. Exhale to bow. Do that 2 more times. You don't need to come up a lot. Just think about pulling the spine and chest out of the hips, like half extension. Exhale to bow. And at the end of your next inhale, let's step the right foot back again. Find a good lunge distance. Good, a couple times. Pulse up and down in the hips. The next time you exhale, find yourself down to your back knee again. Right fingertips can stay where they are. Inhale, reach the left hand into the air, look up. As you exhale, draw the head back a little bit and keep stretching the front shin forward like we did the last time in that little back bend. Good. One breath more. And then as you inhale, bring the left hand to the outer edge of your left foot. Lift off your back knee. And the front leg may or may not get straight. It doesn't matter, but start to stretch the front leg straighter and move the hips back and up like you would for downwards facing dog. That might only look like 1 inch, or it might get fully straight. It doesn't matter. Just start to work that action of drawing the hips back and keep extending the fingers to the ground. Good. Take one more breath here. And then bend into your front knee, step back to a downwards facing dog, or that push-up position, and then lift the groins up and back. Good. Press through one heel, press through the other. This feeling as the heel drops, though, don't let the bum tuck under. Work to keep the bottom of the bum lifted or the spine tipped into more of a back bend. Good. Let's take one more breath here. When you're even in both legs, again, we'll walk the feet back up to the hands. Good. Exhale, bow heavy. Big inhale, let's sweep the arms up and overhead. Come up to standing and then bring the hands to the back of the hips or thighs as you exhale. Lift through the chest, draw the elbows together like we did, and then let your hips move a little bit forward as you draw your head a little bit back, a little bit of a standing back bend. As you come back, there's this feeling of as much of an upward lift in the chest as you want to draw back. That'll help to keep you from compressing. So you might even come a little bit less to feel like you can really stay lifted. Good, full breath here. And then as you inhale, come up, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. One time, look forwards, reach the spine out of the hips, half extension. Then as you bow on your exhale, let's step the other leg back. Left foot back to your lunge. Good. Same thing. Once or twice to pulse up and down. That'll help you to get a good distance and wiggle that back foot if need be. And on your exhale again, let's come onto the back knee. Sink into your lunge. Make your left fingertips steady to the ground. Big inhale, let's reach the right hand up into the air. Tendency maybe as we reach is we get the chin stuck forward. So a sense of wanting to draw the head back a little bit. That'll help to open the chest, or just like that feeling in that standing back bend. In contrast from that bit of that opening, or the bit more of that inhale, just like again this movement of breath and body. Exhale, let's uncurl, fingertips to the ground. You can lift off your back knee. The front leg can start to stretch a bit straighter. The back heel doesn't have to drop in any way. If it stays lifted, it'll probably make it a little easier for the hips, although it may make it a bit trickier for balance. You can play with either or both if you like. Good. Either way, draw the hips back, reach the spine forward like those half extensions, although in a much maybe deeper variation. Good. Full breath. And then same as the other side. Let's find ourselves to a push-up so you can bend into the front knee and then lift the groins up to a downwards facing dog. Keep the groins lifting as you drop the heels, so it's not a shifting up and down the back of the leg, but they're being stretched apart, heels to hips. Good. One more breath. And then one more time. Let's walk the feet back to the hands. A few moments when you get there, hang heavy. And then arms overhead as you inhale. Exhale, release your hands to the side. Again, just close your eyes, stand tall a moment. Keep coming back to this. Tadasana is the name of the pose, or essentially anatomical neutral, the place where the body sits and flows and moves the best. The place where even though we might do all these crazy movements, we're really looking for neutral. Good. Last time through. Big inhale. Let's sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale. Bring the hands to the back of the head. Good. So lift up nice and tall. Press the hand or the head back into the hands, which will lift the chest, and then draw the belly up. Fill the back body. And let side bend to the left. Nice long stretch to the right side. Good. As the ribs spread on that right side, imagine they can shift over so they get a bit more opening on the left. And kind of shift the whole body. Good. Inhale, come through center, reach the arms up into the air. And then exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Look forwards, half extension, come up. Then as you exhale, one more time, let's step your left foot back into your lunge. Take a moment, pulse once or twice. Good. And the next time that you exhale, let's come all the way down to the back knee. Bring the hands to the inner foot, the inner shin this time, and walk your hands forward and a little bit to the left. Keep moving down in the hips and just round and bow down a little. Maybe it's a little bit. Maybe start to come towards, your forearms and forehead. Whatever works. Good. One more breath here. The next time that you inhale, let's come back up to the hands. Find your push-up position on your toes or knees, and let's lower down to our bellies. And bring your fingertips off the edge of your mat. As your fingertips come off, the elbows can come nice and high. And just a few times, draw the shoulders back, lift up as you inhale. Exhale to lower. Twice more. As it comes back, this feeling you want to get the shoulders behind the head so they don't get rounded and left in front. Good. At the end of this third back bend, hands can slide back under the shoulders, toes can tuck. We'll lift the groins up and back to a downwards facing dog. Good. Press through your right heel, press through your left heel. And then walk or step your feet back to your hands. Good. Exhale, bow heavy. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. We'll go through the other side. Hands to the back of the skull as you get there. So as much as you want to lift in the chest, again, fill and pick the back ribs up, and then side bend. As you find that side bend, as the one side of the ribs gets spread and the other side gets contracted, shift the spread side literally over. Like you can shift the ribs over to the right so you can create more space to shift. And then inhale, come up, stretch the arms up. Exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Soft bend in the knees if you need to, look forwards. Half extension, and then step the other leg back. Right foot back, find your lunge. Yeah, once or twice, that little pulse every time just helps you to flow with the breath, up and down, inhale, exhale. Start to create this sort of synonymous connection in the movements. Good, and then come all the way down to your back knee. Hands can walk forward and a bit to the right, and you can bow down a little. As you sink down, this back hip wants to drop, so keep a bit of a lift up in your back groin so you can sink into the front hip a bit more. Good. One more breath. And then come back up to the palms, to a push-up, toes or knees, lower down to your belly. As you find your belly, let's bring the fingertips off the edge of the mat. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Good. 2 more times. And at the end of your next inhale, let's press up through all fours to widen the knees, and we'll sit the hips back to the heels for child's pose. Yeah, a few moments here. Sink and soften the groins back. Let the spine sink down. And feeling, even if you can't still feel the breath, want to create a little bit of a lift and dropping in the body. Looks like your breath is kind of floating, like wood on water. There's a buoyancy and a lightness to it. Good. One more breath here. And one more time. We'll come up through all fours. About a push-up distance, just to get a good distance for the hands and feet. Once you find that downwards facing dog for a breath. Last time, we'll walk the feet up to the hands. We'll come to standing. Good. Bow a moment. As you inhale, arms up and overhead. Come up to standing. And then exhale, release your hands to the side. Weight can shift into your left leg again. And you can come up to the right tippity toes. Maybe start to hold the thigh or the knee. Good. You might, in this instance, pull on the knee a little bit more and turn the chest up. Just a little bit of an upward lift in the sternum or in the chest. You can stretch a bit straighter in that standing leg. Good. And the next time that you exhale, let's release the right foot and cross your right foot in front of your left foot. So as the toes cross, keep the toes together, but you can create some space, open the heels up. And then bend your left knee into the right knee a little bit. And as you bend your knee forward, stick your hip out. So this feeling of sticking your hip out to the left, the hands can come to the right. You can bow a little bit onto the right thigh. You can work down the shin, or eventually that left hand might reach for the ground. The more you draw the torso over to the right, the more I want you to push the hips and bum over to the left a little. The back knee might want to lock out. It doesn't need to be straight, but a little bit of a motion of the knee forward will really help to activate and move the groins out. Good. Inhale, rise back up to standing. And cross the legs, stand tall a moment. Good. As you're ready, let's switch sides. You can balance in your right leg and draw the left knee up. Good. The sense of just wanting to turn the chest up a little bit. One more breath. And as we did on the other side. Release the left leg down, cross it in front of the right, toes together, heels a bit wide. Bend your right knee a little bit into your left knee to push the hips to the right and start to bow, a little more farther towards the ground on the left. A little bit like those side bends and forward folds put together. Good. Just a breath or two. As the hip widens out, you can imagine all this space across the low back, outer hip and bum. And then come out of that, rise up as you inhale. And cross the legs, release the hands. Take a moment. Good. And then full breath. Inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, bow forwards to a full forward fold. Good. Hang heavy for a moment here. And then let's bend your knees and come as much through a squat as you can, and then find yourself to your bums and onto your backs. However is the most comfortable for you. And we'll just sprawl out flat for a moment when we get there. Good. Take a breath, feeling a bit more neutral. And then let's draw the right knee into the chest as you inhale. Give it a good squeeze in. And then right hand to the side as you inhale, and roll as you exhale to the left. You might need to move your hip a bit back to the center or your shoulder over. Just line the body up. Keep moving the hips one way, the low back and ribs the other, just like we did in standing and with the breath. Like everything else, a sense of buoyancy as you rise and fall here. Good. One more breath. The next time that you inhale again, let's come on to our backs. Hug both knees into the chest. If the hips are a little tighter, let the knees be a bit wider. It'll create space for the groins, but they could start to draw in as long as the bum doesn't curl off. And then let's switch sides. We'll draw the left knee in. Stretch the right leg out. Arm to the side, roll to the twist. Good. Just a few breaths here. A sense of lifting and dropping in the body. Feel like the body wants to expand in every way with the breath. Yeah. As you're ready to, in your next breath or so, just uncurl to your back, stretch the leg out. This feeling as though you're in the best sense of neutral. And we'll just let go. Stay as long as you like, but this has ended our time for community classroom yoga. So until next time, stay.